here's a screenshot right now of the first interaction between right around the time of end of March, where the campaign was set up, where the first message went out, are you selling? And you can see that we redacted out the address, but are you selling Briggs Avenue? And so the seller didn't respond right away. Second text went out, did you get my text? And then the seller came back, I'm selling the one at 1500 Carswell. And so that's what I meant earlier. But as long as you're targeting potentially motivated sellers, they may not be selling the property that you're initially targeting, but their motivation as a seller may carry over to other properties they own. And this is exactly what happened in this particular case. So the seller responded, I'm selling the one at 1500 Carswell. And so then our deal VA then responds, great. You know, we would like to get more information about the property, determine if we can make an offer to buy it all cash. You know, when's the best time to call you? And so then the seller responds now, and the seller actually gives their email address. And so then our deal VA then continues on and says, you know, we've been texting about the property. We will be sending you 2 purchase offers to review. And so why would one send 2 purchase offers, you guys may be asking? So I'm going to throw that to Lakeisha, and Lakeisha's now been investing a few years now, and these are strategies that she's learned in our deal mastery program. So Lakeisha, you want to share with people why we send out 2 offers to the same seller?
Yes, because it gives them options to choose which offer would possibly work best for them. And then also it gives us an opportunity for them to counter offer, and that's how we get into the negotiation phase of the deal.
Absolutely, absolutely. So I want to reiterate that in case you guys missed it. So Lakeisha said that you send 2 offers because it gives them a choice of which one they prefer. So if you send 1 offer, it's easy for them to say, no, I'm not interested. And plus, you know, you're not giving them choices based off a difference of, let's say, price and terms. And so I'm not going to go too deep into that on tonight's call, but just suffice it to say, you can make offers where you do a really low ball offer with cash, all cash, close in like 7-14 days, or you can do a higher price and say, okay, I'll give you a higher price, but I want you to take some money now and then take the rest, let's say, over a few years. And there's many different ways to structure that: seller financing, subject tos, and different strategies, creative financing strategies. But the point is, if you give them 2 different options, they may not pick either one, but they're more likely to do what? To counter. And that's ultimately what you're looking for. You're looking for a counter offer anytime you make initial offers. We know that most times sellers are not going to accept our first offer, and that's fine. We just want them to counter, and that lets us know if they're motivated. So you can see here in the the text message exchange, you know, our deal VA said, hey, we're going to send out 2 offers. And then the seller says, okay, I didn't get your email. And then they say, hey, hello, I saw the agreement, but we didn't agree on. See, there you go. So the seller saw the agreement after initially not seeing it. And then they said, but we didn't agree on that. And that's fine. Now they have acknowledged receipt of the offer. And now there's a start of a negotiation right here, right now in the Deal Finders funnel. And you can see at this point, Lakeisha has not yet even engaged with the seller yet. It's all been done by the system and our deal VAs. And you can see the next response, was a follow-up saying, any feedback on the offer we sent you, check your email and junk mail, hope to hear back from you soon. And then the seller responds, I signed it and sent it. And bam, now you have your Deal Finders funnel that's contacted many thousands of prospective motivated sellers. It's now skip traced and got the contact information. The automation has been set. The messages have been sent out, the Are You Selling messages. The deal VAs have done their job, the back and forth. They sent out the e-sign offers, and bam, you have an offer that's been accepted. And now you have a property under contract that you can exit with whatever strategy you choose, whether it's to wholesale it, to fix and flip it, to keep it as a rental, so forth and so on. And folks, that's exactly what happens inside the funnel. Real leads to deal case study. So let's dive into the numbers of this particular deal. And And believe me, when I said there's 140 some touches or 140 touches, I just took the snapshot at the very beginning. Of course, Lakeisha and the seller have gone back and forth in terms of, the logistics of everything that happened after this initial text exchange, but we don't have time to get into all those details. But the bottom line is that's how funnel marketing works, is targeting potentially motivated sellers. And then, of course, getting their contact information with skip tracing and having the funnel with the automated follow-up, do its thing. And then having support staff like virtual assistants to help you with the qualifying. So let's take a look at the numbers here. So on this property, we actually marketed it at Deals Meetup last month because you couldn't be there. We had some interest. We didn't get a buyer right away. But the cool thing about having partners, about having marketing partners, about being a part of a network, is that you always have, a lot of bait in the water. And so we put this particular property, 1,500 Carswell, out to our network. We had our marketing partners put it out to their network. We helped Lakeisha with the marketing package in terms of the pricing, the comps, and all that type of stuff. And Lakeisha put it out to her network. And you want to just take it from there in terms of what type of interest you got, and then how long it took to get the property under contract?
Yeah, so in addition to the marketing that Andre just mentioned, I also did some additional marketing. Again, as Andre mentioned, I sent the list or the property out to my list of buyers, but I also made sure that I marketed on Craigslist every day. So that was actually really big for me, because that's actually where a lot of my interest came from. Because what I was doing is, I might do, 2 postings for Baltimore and maybe 1 for Southern Maryland one day at, let's say, noon. The next day I was doing something I was posting in Southern Maryland and then maybe the DC area, and I would do that, let's say, at 5 o'clock. So I was doing this every day in different markets within the DMV on Craigslist. In addition to that, I did a Facebook ad. And so I did my Facebook ad maybe 5 to 10 days where I marketed the property as well. So I think once we really started marketing the property, I want to say that within 2 weeks, I believe it was about 2 weeks, 2.5 weeks, we got the property under contract. During that time, I believe I had maybe 4 offers on the property total.
Okay.
The first 3 actually came in around the same price point. And so, of course, I went back and I countered on all 3. And so one of the 3 actually came back at what I thought was an acceptable price point. In some conversations with Andre, et cetera, I had one more investor who was interested in taking a look at the property, and her husband took a look at the property. That next morning, she called me. She let me know that she was interested, and she put an offer in. And it was actually higher than the asking price.
So here's the trick, guys, is that when you are deciding on your exit strategy, in this case, Lakeisha had already made a decision that she wanted to wholesale the property. Although I know that you also, very much believe in cash flowing rentals, because obviously I know that you have your own cash flowing rentals in Baltimore. But once you decide on your exit strategy, you have to commit to whatever that choice is. So if you're committing to actually buy it, you have to make the commitment to be very diligent about getting your financing. So don't waste time, get a couple different, financing packages going, and then move in that direction with your financing. Get your contractor estimates and just be diligent. If you're going to wholesale it, you can't just rely on, for example, us to find a buyer or anyone else to find a buyer. You have to use all resources. Now, of course, we help with the marketing. We provide, direction and resources. We have our own lists. We have a network of people that have lists, but you also have to be proactive with, putting your property out there as many different places as possible, because you never know where that buyer is going to come from. And it doesn't mean it's a bad deal if no one actually buys it. It means in some cases you just didn't put it in front of enough people. And so proud of Lakeisha and getting this out to all those different places she mentioned. She mentioned Craigslist. She mentioned Facebook, a Facebook ad, out to her buyers list. So that's 3 different, outlets right there, in addition to the places that we put it. And so let's just take a look at the Redfin listing. You can see here some of the comps that we listed here. The 39.9 or best offer. You can see Redfin has this listed as 37,000 Redfin estimate, although we know that's a little bit low based on some of the properties that are around it that were either pending contract or recently sold. So let me show you exactly how seamless the funnel allows things to be, and how it's helped Lakeisha, to do this while she has a full-time job, while she works her retail business, and how it's helping other investors to do the same. So this contract went out to the seller of the property right from within inside the funnel. So the deal DAs are actually able to qualify the potentially motivated sellers right there on the phone inside the funnel using the soft phone and the auto dialers right there in the funnel. Then they're able to push a couple buttons or type a couple things, hit a button, and then send out an e-sign offer right within the funnel. And so that makes it super easy for sellers to sign it electronically with their finger on their iPad, on their desktop or their PC, without having to go to a fax machine or open up an email attachment or things like that. They just open up a document and they can electronically sign. And Lakeisha and all of our deal finders use our investor-friendly contracts that we've modified over the years. That's really, really helpful for you as an investor, whether you're new or experienced, to get properties under contract. So you're actually looking at the actual contract that was sent out on Lakeisha's behalf by our deal DAs, that was sent out electronically through the funnel. Lakeisha gets a copy of it, the seller gets a copy of it, and you saw the seller actually say, hey, I got the contract, but we didn't agree on the price that was initially sent. But that was what Lakeisha was looking for, because that was the seller signifying, hey, I'm motivated. Look at me. I got your contract. I'm ready to, let's make a deal type of deal. So that's what led to Lakeisha having another contract offer sent out. And you can see here, same contract, just sliding down the page some. You can see here that the EMD or deposit, the buyer deposit that we have as a default, we leave as $100 default. Now, does every seller accept $100 EMD? No. Sometimes they push back in certain markets, maybe like DC, Washington, DC, maybe in certain markets like, Manhattan, maybe in LA, maybe they'll push back and say, oh no, I want 1%, 3% of the sales price, which in some cases could be, $3,000, $5,000, $10,000. But why start with that high of a number? So you'd be surprised how many properties we get under contract with $100 EMD. Now you might say, well, why don't you start with $10? Well, at some point you want to have it be, substantial enough where someone doesn't say $10. So, well, most people look at $100 and, $100 isn't nothing. And so most people, that aren't super savvy as investors, and most sellers are not. They're just, Joe and Jane homeowner. A lot of times they don't balk, they don't push back, and $100 EMD a lot of times does the trick. And so for a $100 EMD and a $100 entry into our Deal Finders Challenge, this could be, you getting your funnel marketing going in terms of, having us help you with your first direct to seller marketing campaign, or if you've been marketing previously, having us, do it from a professional standpoint, to help you to get your next deal done. So any comments there in the live chat? If you have any questions, I'll get to some questions that are here. Lakeisha, do you have anything that you want to add just about, just maybe your evolution over the last year or so? I'm really, pleased to hear that you have, over 5 different campaigns running, different types of targeted lists, that you have a VA that's following up. You train your VA to follow up on retail versus investor, leads. So anything you want to share with folks that I guess maybe thinking about doing their own direct to seller marketing?
Yeah, I think for me, adding the systems to my business in addition to the virtual assistant has made a big difference in terms of me being able to contact a large number of people. So yeah, the system has been, it's been somewhat of a lifesaver in a sense, because again, I work full time. I'm also a real estate agent in addition to an investor. And so just being able to have that system in place really has just made a difference in my business.
And hopefully you guys are all taking that to heart, because there's no way to be successful in this business doing it all by yourself.